And they went through Melania's underwear drawer, and they went into Barrett. They did all of this stuff.
The FBI raided my home in Florida and searched through my personal belongings.
Some person, I don't even know who or how many people.
They rifled through the First Lady's closet, drawers, and everything else, and even did a deep and ugly search of the room of my 16-year-old son.
It serves as a warning to all Americans, a reminder that our freedom and rights must be respected.
It was far worse. I think everybody should remember that. It was far worse than anything Donald Trump did. Donald Trump was told that he took thousands of classified documents, and that SWAT raid found 102.7, I guess, 0.7% of the 13,000. There was only 102 classified documents. That was it.
Former President Trump's attorneys argue the Biden administration Justice Department authorized the use of deadly force if necessary during that raid.
And then the FBI scattered them on the floor in a way that they had not found them. And then they brought little sticky labels, classified, and plastered them all over it. And that was it. And they went through Melania's underwear drawer, and they went into Barrett. They did all of this stuff.
Yeah, it made me angry. Yes, invasion of privacy, and the way it was done I was really surprised.
First Lady Melania Trump has said she bought new underwear after the FBI's Mar-a-Lago raid as she felt violated.
And yet Joe Biden, for 30 years, had taken classified documents and knowingly did it. And he had them in the garage. He had them in the library. He had them in his office in Washington. He had them at University of Delaware. He had them in 4 places.
Mr. Herr, classified documents were found at the Penn Biden Center?
That's correct.
They were found in President Biden's garage?
In Wilmington, Delaware, yes.
And in his basement den?
Also in the same home, yes.
In his main floor office?
Correct.
And his third floor den?
Correct.
At the University of Delaware?
Correct.
And at the Biden Institute?
Correct.
The weird thing about it all was he knew it. And then this lying media, and that's what they are, this lying media said, well, Joe Biden came forward when he discovered that he had taken these, and he didn't know how many classified, but unlike Donald Trump, he volunteered. No, he came forward because he had just appointed Jack Smith to go out in a lawfare vendetta against Trump on the documents, and people were asking. You can go back on the internet and look at it, and saying things like, well, did Biden ever do this? People on the right were saying that, and he panicked, and he told his lawyer to go contact Merrick Garland. And then they made this complete, Corinne Jean-Pierre made this complete fantasy statement. Unlike Donald Trump, Joe Biden, the moment he realized that he may or may not have had classified files, he came willingly to work with us. And that was a complete lie. He only did it to cover himself because he was going after Donald Trump.
What the president has said, which is he takes this very seriously.
How can he say he takes classified material seriously when some of what was found may have been in his home for more than a decade and he seemingly had no idea?
And then he had a very incriminating tape with the ghostwriter.
Special counsel Robert Hur's investigation revealed that President Biden retained personal notebooks from his vice presidency containing classified information. Notably, Biden read aloud from these notebooks during interviews with his ghostwriter, Mark Zwonitzer, inadvertently disclosing sensitive details. Upon learning of the federal probe, Zwonitzer deleted recordings of these interviews before investigators contacted him, raising concerns about potential evidence tampering.
And the ghostwriter says on the tape that he's got access to classified. They're discussing it. And then what did they do? They destroyed the tape.
I did not share it. With your ghostwriter? With my ghostwriter, I did not. Guarantee you did not.
We also identified other recorded conversations during which Mr. Biden read classified information aloud to his ghostwriter.
They destroyed the tape. And then Hur should have indicted him and Biden for doing that. It was subpoenaed. And then the ghostwriter said, well, I only did it because it could have been hacked. Well, why didn't you do it 10 months before or 2 years before?
And oh, by the way, Mr. Hur, What did that ghostwriter do with the information Joe Biden shared with him on his laptop? What did he do after you were named special counsel?
Chairman, if you're referring to the audio recordings that Mr. Zwanitzer created of his conversations with
exactly
Biden,
what I'm referring to.
He slid, if I remember correctly, he slid those files into his recycle bin on his computer.
Tried to destroy the evidence, didn't he?
Correct.
You're a pathological liar to make us even think that that could be true. And then he was very patient on the tape, but did you notice how Biden's lawyer kept answering the questions? And then he got into something about the Mongol, all these tangent stories. They were bizarre. And it was just, Robert Hur should, I have a lot of empathy for Robert Hur because people like Jill Biden and Joe Biden, and especially Kamala Harris, and especially Chuck Schumer and Adam Schiff. How dare you say that the president is an old man with a poor memory? That's not your job. And that was charitable, what he said.
The comments that were made by that prosecutor, gratuitous, inaccurate, and inappropriate.
And more importantly, all they had to do was show the tape to prove that and they cleaned up the transcript. It wasn't an actual verbatim reflection of the things, the ahs and that was all cut out. But all they had to do was release that tape.
We should expect that there would be a higher level of integrity than what we saw.
And that would have proved it, but they were never going to release that tape because they knew they were lying the entire time. And then when Kamala Harris, you should be ashamed. The worst statement was another one of these Bidens where he will do anything to gain empathy. And in that conversation, he said, well, this was a troubled time because of Bo's death, and then Bo died, and he had the wrong date. He brought it up, had the wrong date, and the special prosecutor had to correct him on the date.
I don't know. There's even reference that I don't remember when my son died. This is what, 2017, 18, that area?
And then that was part of the official report. I read the report. It said Joe Biden was confused about the date, and he was asked about that in a press conference. And he lied. He just turned on her and said, how dare he bring that up? He didn't bring it up, Joe. You brought it.
How in the hell dare he raise that?
15 he died. I think it's 2015.
I think it's 2015. I don't need anyone to remind me when he passed away or passed away.
They said, no one is above the law. But this isn't about law. It's about who controls it. This isn't just hypocrisy. It's selective justice. And it's dangerous. If one man's garage is just poor judgment, and another's locked room is a threat to national security, then we've already crossed the line. Not just a legal one, a constitutional one, a moral one, a democratic one. Because justice that picks sides isn't justice at all.